Hi, welcome back. Certainly glad you could join us today. It's a fantastic day here, and I hope it is wherever you're at. So I tell you what, let's get started. Let's have them run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with us. And while they're doing that, let me show you what I've got up here today. I have my standard old canvas up here, but I've cut a little oval out of contact paper and stuck it on. And then I've covered this portion up here with gray gesso and the bottom with black gesso. And don't laugh at my wavy line, I know it's not straight. Then I've covered the entire thing with just a very thin coat of liquid clear. So it's all wet and ready to go. So I thought today maybe we'd do a little seascape, one that's very simple, very easy, and one that we'll just have some fun with. So I'll start out with a little bit of Indian yellow. I'm just gonna load a tiny little amount up here. I want a seascape that's very bright and shiny. So we'll just take a little of that Indian yellow, and we'll just run it right along like that somewhere. Maybe without cleaning the brush, we'll go right into a little bit of yellow ochre. There. Just something like that. That's really all we're looking for. I'm going to come back and add a little white in that and brighten it up. But we're just putting some little base colors under it right now. There we go. And just let that sort of blend upward. And once again, without washing the brush, I'm going to go right into a little bit of the bright red. Just a small amount. Doesn't take much. Doesn't take much. Now the gray gesso underneath will dull that so it's not so bright that it hurts your eyes. There. Maybe just a touch more. Right in there. Something along that order. That's all we're looking for. Now then, time to wash the brush, and that's really the most fun part of the whole procedure. So let's do that. Let's wash our old brush. Just wash it off good, give it a shake. And there we go. There we go. Now, a little bit of the titanium white. And let's start right in here with white. And then we can begin painting right over the top of that. Just begin right over. I want this to be the brightest area right here. Maybe the sun maybe it just sort of went behind the horizon right here. I don't know. You just decide and put it wherever you want it. And blend upward. Now we're just going to blend upward. Let that white mix with all the colors that you put on the clear. Add a small amount more of the white. There. Just let them all blend together. Something like so. All right. I like skies and seascapes that are very bright and shiny. They just seem to make you feel better. And you can do this several times to achieve a desired brightness. Up to you. Up to you. See, now when we hit that bright red up there, it makes a gorgeous pink color. That easy. And that's about all I'm going to do for that little sky. Now, I think today I'll take a little phthalo blue, some alizarin crimson, mix it together proportionately. Much, much more crimson than blue. I want sort of a reddish lavender color, maybe a touch more blue in it. There, I think that's just right. Just right. Wipe off the knife. And we'll use a fan brush today. Load a little color in the fan brush just by going back and forth. So, okay. And maybe in our world there lives your bravery test right off today. A big old strong cloud lives right up here. Just floats around and has a good time all day. There we go. There, big old cloud. I said a big strong cloud. I guess I was serious. But I'm going to start on the cloud that's the darkest, which to me would be this one. And maybe we'll make a few more. But now we're beginning to have less paint on the brush. Less and less paint. So automatically it's going to get a little lighter in value. Shoot, let the canvas work. The brushes work, the color. Just go with it. Go with it. As I've mentioned before, this is certainly the lazy man's way of painting. And I look for easy ways. Maybe there's a little paint left on the brush. Maybe there's a little cloud lives right there. I don't know. I don't know. Just basically wherever you think they should be. We'll put several in here just so you have a little practice with clouds. There, maybe, okay, right there, little stringy one. Something like so, maybe even one over here. But that's really all we need. There. That had a little color on it, but I just banged it to knock the color off, and we can go in here and just blend this some. This will pick up the excess paint. There. Tell you what, I want a softer brush. I'm going to pick up the blender brush so I can get in here and make all kinds of little soft things happen. Very gentle. With this blender brush, you can go right over all this without mixing it together. Just bring it together. There. Something about like it. That's all we're looking for today. And that gives us a sky full of clouds. We'll wash that little brush out. It's not near as much fun to beat that one. Don't like to beat that one near as much as the other one. Maybe I'll blend that one a little bit more and have this clean. Okay. Let's spend the majority of our time today working on the bottom. I'm going to take phthalo blue and phthalo green and just mix them together on the brush here. Blue and green. Phthalo blue and green. Okay, let's go back up in here. And I'm just going to cover right along like that. See, my crooked horizon didn't matter at all now. And they were laughing at my horizon line here in the studio before we started this. But it doesn't matter. There. Because we don't make mistakes. Okay. That's just applying a little color to the liquid clear. Then I'll wash this brush. And we're in business again. Now I'm going to mix up some sap green and alizarin crimson together. I'm going to make up a nice transparent chocolate brown color. And these two colors make a gorgeous, gorgeous brown. Gorgeous brown. All right. But it's a very transparent brown. And we can take our brush with this transparent brown, and I'm just going to fill up the bottom of this area with a little bit of that brown. I know you can't see it, and that's the beauty of it. That's the way you tell if a color is transparent. If you put it over black and you still seems to be black to you, then the color's transparent enough for what we're doing. It can be semi-transparent, but it'll work. Now, let's find a little number 3 fan brush today. I find in seascapes one of the easiest ways of getting one started. Figure out if you're going to have a big major wave, figure out where it lives and then work around that. So let's say our major wave is going to live right here. There's the top of it. It's going to come out maybe and go like so. Behind it, then we can have whatever we want. And that just sort of gives you a little layout, and back in here, wherever. See, that's this. Maybe this will help. The wave's going to curve over like that. Does that make sense now? Crash right over. That's all there is to it. And that sort of gives you an idea of where everything's going to live. Let's have a little in the background back here. We'll take a little white, a little bit of our lavender color that we made, and mix it up. We just mixed on the brush. Doesn't much matter. And up in here, maybe I'll add a little black to that. Yeah, I like that. Maybe in our world, right back in here is a little headland that lives back here that just sort of projects out into the water. There, something like that. See, that's all there is to it. No big deal. Now we have one out there. I'm gonna go back to the small fan brush. And now we can start picking out things. Today, maybe I'll use a little fan brush some. I'm gonna strengthen these. Actually, what I'm doing is adding a little white paint. Just a little white paint. And I'll show you why. Let me wash that brush. There we go. Now, be sure it's clean and dry, and the paint that's up here is enough to do what we want to do. We're going to take that and begin pulling it back. Just pull it back, see? Just pull it back. But notice the strokes. They're sort of rocking like little strokes. Very, very important. And what you're interested in is the dark area, not the light area. There, just wipe off that paint. See there? Just little rocking strokes. And from here, just lead them back. Try to maintain that dark area in there though. That's what we're looking for. That's the goodie. Okay. Now, the most fun part of doing seascapes is the eye of the wave, or the transparency, whatever you want to call it. Let's say it lives right here. We can still use the little fan brush, doesn't matter, or you could use a filbert. Scratch in a little bit of that. But we're really applying a lot of pressure. We're really pushing that color right into the canvas. And you can do it several times to achieve a desired lightness. But I'd recommend you wash the brush each time so you start with nice fresh color. There, we about wore this little brush out washing it. But that's okay. Now, to our little blender, and very lightly. This little blender is wonderful for these. Wonderful. Because you can make things here that are absolutely just as smooth as silk. There we go. Just tiny little circles, but the bristles aren't hardly moving. Just wind it up. There. Just a nice little light spot out there. Little hair there. All right. There. Okay, now we can begin putting some goodies in there. Let's take a little bit of the titanium white and think about where the water is going to crash over here. Going to go like so. Got to make those little noises though. If you don't make those little noises, it just doesn't work. There. No, it's not true. You don't have to make those. There we go. I like to make them. But you know how painters are. We sort of different, a little weird. There we go. That's basically all we need. And to make the little crashing thing there, we'll take some of that. We're using lavender in this, so we'll just continue with it. Works well. Just load a little bit of that lavender, because I'm going to add a touch more blue to it. Get a little more to the blue side. There we go. Okay. Now, maybe, I don't think you'll be able to see this, but it's just a shadow color I'm putting underneath. There, you can see it as it comes up over here. See, just a little shadow, so when we put the nice foam on top of it, it'll jump right out at us. But you need that dark color underneath, just sort of bring it all together. Once again, you could do this with a filbert, and I do a lot of the times. Today I just sort of got started with a little fan brush and decided to go with it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Anything that works for you. Load a little bit of titanium white on here. Maybe just a little crasher. Just a little bit of crashing going on out in here. Just wipe off the paint, reload it sometime. There we go. A little more paint. As I say, these little noises sort of help me. I like them. Okay, now then, let's take the little blender and very lightly, just barely touch. I want to blend this edge out a little bit, right in here. Very soft. All right. There we go. Now then, we can start having some fun here. Take paint thinner, a little bit of the titanium white, and let's make a thin paint here so we can just start putting some of the goodies in there. Some of the things that really make it stand out well. There we go. A little more paint on the brush. See, just pick out all the little waves. way back in the distance here. There. That's a very simple way of making a seascape that's quite colorful, quite effective. You'll like it. You'll like it. And let some of these things just work down. So you begin getting all kinds of little foam patterns in here. There they go. This is where you create the shape in the wave. This is what makes it all come together. There we are. Okay, maybe, let's see here. We had alizarin crimson and sap green to make brown. Make up a little more brown. And maybe in our world, we will use a filbert here. Maybe right over here in this old crasher wave lives a big old stone right there. Just making that out of brown. Comes right down into the crashing wave and just going all over that. All right, let me wipe off the excess paint. And put a little bit of bright red. Maybe a little lavender mixed with it. Oh, that's nice. That dulls it down just a little. There. And we'll just sort of form us some basic little rocks out here. We don't much care. I like doing little seascapes like this. They're so much fun. So much fun. I was born in Daytona Beach, Florida. So I sort of grew up around the water. Sort of grew up around it. There. Okay. I still spend quite a bit of time over by the beach. I like it. I like the water. Put a few little splasher doers all up through here. Little splasher doers, that's a word I made up. But you know what I'm talking about. Steve, my son, and I both seem to have this tendency to make up words. There. All right, down here, I want a little beachy area. So I'm gonna take a little white with a touch of the cad yellow in it. Figure out where you want the beach to be. Pull straight down. Just pull it straight down. See, that brown now shows up and then go across. Already it's beginning to look like wet water just by doing that. Take our knife, small knife. Get a little roll of paint on it. Figure out basically where you want the little ripples to be. There they come. Firm pressure. Really firm, bending the blade. Don't break it, but bend it. And that'll help give you that illusion there that you're looking for. All right. And maybe in our world, maybe. Yep, you're right. There's another one. Something about like that. Goes right off that edge. It's okay. Take a fan brush and very lightly want to grab that and pull it back. Just give it a little backward pull. There, but basically pretty straight. If anything, let it tilt downward so it looks like the water is running downward there. All right. We can use a little filbert with a little white on it here, and we can just begin working on all kinds of little patterns and little things, little foam patterns that are happening in here. Let them happen. Don't worry about them. There they go. See, and maybe in here there's some. Just little things going on. There. Just give it a little pull. Angles are most important in here though. Pay very close attention to your angles. They can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Just depends on how they go. A little bit more of the titanium white, a little blue in it. Come along and enforce some of these things. Now, at home, where you have unlimited time, you can really put some time in here. You can put all kinds of little details. That's what makes your painting special. That's really what makes it gorgeous, makes it stand out. There. Just going to skip around here and there and put all kinds of little doers in. There we go. Now then, back to my little filbert brush that has the brown on it. And maybe there's a little stone over here on this side too. Shoot, I bet he's got a friend right there. We'll have little rocks all over the place. And okay, a little bit of the bright red. And we'll come right in here and just highlight that little stone. Just enough to make him stand out some. Take a little bit of the liquid white on the knife, and just like we were in water, you can put little water lines right around it so it looks like it's part of the whole overall scene. There. Okay. Liner brush. Oh, liner brush. We'll take a little bit of the brown. A little bit of the brown. You know me. I got to have a tree. Okay, little tree. But I need a tree. I like trees. Maybe off this old rock here, there's one old tree that's just trying to make it. He's trying to make a living out here on this rock. This is not the best place to try to survive. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't. Gnarly old tree. His old arms are wiggly. He's really had a hard life. Okay. Yeah. See, that tree has some character. This would be a nice tree for the seagull to come land in. Sit up here and see what's happening. He could check it out. Okay, and take a little more paint thinner. A little bit of that lavender color, but I'm thinning it down too. Very thin, very thin. Just about like ink. And underneath this little wave here, I want to put a dark line. A dark line will separate. And we can see little seaweeds and things through there. But this is how we shape the wave. See how it curves now? You can see through it. It's transparent. And we can see right through that rascal. A little that dark right along in there. That dark's your good friend right here. It separates once again. There. Something like so. And you just sort of vary these back and forth. I'm going to go into white with the least little touch of the cad yellow. Thin down with paint thinner. Right underneath here, where it's the brightest, we can begin putting some nice, bright, shiny little highlights that are just zinging right through there. See? And you just put those wherever you want them. Something like that. And that's basically how to do a very simple little seascape. Let's take the contact paper off now and see what we have. You never know until you take the paper off whether it's going to work or not. And I think this one turned out pretty good. Pretty good for a quickie. Let's take a little bit of the bright red, a little paint thinner. I think this one's ready for a signature. So we'll just come right down in here and sign this little rascal. Like that. Hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have time, send me a picture of your attempt. I'd love to see what you're doing. And from all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting, and God bless, my friend.